Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast. Today, man, we're gonna talk about a few things that's going on concerning peace in the Middle East. So, also bear with me, my lighting is dark because one of my lights went out, but it's not gonna stop the show. So, President Trump had a press conference today with Bibi Netanyahu and proposing peace in the Middle East. Now, this past week, right? So hold on. Before we start, man, make sure you like, share, subscribe to the channel. Help your boy get monetized. My goal is to get monetized by January, and I'm on the road to it. I'm almost at 100 subscribers. So help your boy get monetized by hitting that subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy drop a dope video. So I want to go through a few videos that I found, right? Because this past week, I haven't really been and it's crazy because I'm Muslim, so, but I haven't been too into what was going on in Palestine, Gaza, and that whole ordeal, right? And so I ran across a few videos that I want to play, and I'm also going to link, after I'm done this live, I'm going to actually link some videos I want you to check out that's going over all of this stuff in more detail, and it's long form videos, and but I'm just going to play some short videos, and then we'll get into the conference that they had today talking about this whole proposed peace deal that I'm assuming. I didn't watch it. I wanted to watch it with you guys. So we're going to go over that. Before that, let me see something. I'm going to just leave that alone, actually. But anyway, mad my light went out. But anyway, let's get into these few videos. See, this is a short video with President Nixon, and I got one with Truman, and I also got a short from a clergyman. I'm assuming he's a pastor named Ted Pike. It was a clip I found from around in the 80s, and him talking about Israel. So me kind of going into this, and I want to go into it more, man, because it's getting very interesting because you hear all this is the thing. You know, they made Kanye West look crazy, right? And I'm gonna play something from him too. Just a little rant that he had. But they made Kanye West look crazy for saying things that he said about Jews, right? Everybody that says anything about Israel in the negative is immediately called anti-Semitic. So you got to say to yourself, why? Why? Why are they going to bat so hard for Israel? So I want to play some interesting videos. Listen, well, and you know, I don't agree with no war, you know, to be honest with you. I believe that, you know, we all should be just living in harmony, dog. But of course, man can't do that. You know, we got to cause destruction and all types of things. But this whole thing is interesting. It's very interesting. So I want to play some clips. Let's get into this one with President Nixon on what he said about Israel.
You make the observation in your book, and you say that you have said it many times when you were president of the United States, that no president is ever going to desert Israel.
Hold on, my bad. What the heck? Oh, my bad. That's my bad. Let me bring this up. I hate when I do that. All right. Let's rewind that back.
You make the observation in your book, and you say that you have said it many times when you were president of the United States, that no president is ever going to desert Israel, right?
Correct. I put it more bluntly. I said, as I told congressional leaders during the 1973 Yom Kippur War, no American president will let Israel go down the tube.
All right.
Democrat or Republican, it's not an issue.
That is stated fairly categorically, and yet in your book you make it clear at the same time that Israel really is not of any enormous strategic value to the United States anymore.
That's correct.
So why then would the United States continue to burden itself with huge loans, in some cases outright grants, to the Israelis, jeopardize possibly young American fighting men, when there is no strategic value involved, or little strategic
Because the
value?
United States is concerned by more than strategic values. That's maybe a weakness, but it's the way we are. And there are moral issues involved here. We don't have an alliance with Israel, as you know. They're not an ally of the United States in the technical sense. But we have a bond to Israel that's much stronger. It's a moral commitment because of what happened during the Holocaust, and a moral commitment because it is a democracy, the only democracy in that area. And under the circumstances, that is why American presidents and the American people in the future will support all out the survival of Israel if it's attacked.
You've always been a very tough, pragmatic man. And I just wonder if you were the president of Israel and you heard Richard Nixon talking that way, or for that matter, heard any sitting American president talk that way, and say, but there's really no strategic value anymore, how much faith would you place in that kind of a moral commitment if push really came to shove?
If I were the president of Israel, I put a great deal of faith in it because of the track record of the United States, and also because he would know that that is the way the American people are. There is no doubt whatever of our commitment to Israel.
Okay. So I wanted to play that because just wanted to go back a little bit and get, prior presidents and stuff, opinion, like just different people's opinion on Israel, right? So basically, Nixon said that basically they don't really have any real alliance with Israel, right? But yet they're still supporting Israel. And they said it's more moral and because of what happened to them with the Holocaust. So what's crazy is with the Holocaust, you have 6 million Jews who, basically it was a genocide against the Jews. And then now it's looking like the Jews turn right around and is doing the same thing with Muslims in Palestine. So this is another clip of President Truman. This is way before President Nixon on what he said about Israel and their whole conflict. Because this has been a conflict for over 5 decades, maybe 6.
Floyd Anderson was one of them. We had several other people in the country, even among the Jews, the Zionists particularly, who were against anything that was to be done if they couldn't have the whole of Palestine and everything handed to them on a silver plate so they wouldn't have to do anything. It couldn't be done. We had to take it in small doses. You can't move.
Notice what he said. He said the Zionists, right? So hold on, let's rewind this a little bit on what he said.
You can't move. Couldn't be done. We had to put them on a silver plate.
All right,
to be done if they couldn't have the people in the country, even among the Jews, the Zionists particularly, who were against anything that was to be done if they couldn't have the whole of Palestine.
If they couldn't have the whole of Palestine. So this was an agenda that Israel had against Palestine. So this isn't like, because they'll say this was the Jews' land, it's the Jews' land, it's the Holy Land, the Jews' land. But the Palestinians were there already. I'm gonna link a couple videos in the description after this live, and I'm gonna show two videos in particular where they actually break down this whole thing, and it gets deep. So he says, President Truman says, basically they wanted Palestine on a silver platter given to them, basically, and he says that couldn't happen. So we had to give it to them in small doses. And small doses mean what? War.
And everything handed to them on a silver plate so they wouldn't have to do anything.
So they wouldn't have to do anything.
You had to take it in small doses. You can't.
He said we had to take it. We had to take it in small doses.
Move 5 or 6 million people out of a country and fill it up with 5 or 6 million more and expect both sets of them to be pleased.
So he said we gotta remove 5 to 6 million Palestinians and move in 5 and 6 million Jews and expect them both to be happy.
We had all sorts of objections to everything that was done. Something had to be done. We went ahead and done it and had it done, and now it's working out. Eventually, I think we'll have them all satisfied. But it's going to take a great deal of time yet to get the job done.
Could you tell us that they were worried about war with the Arabs?
All right, so that's that. So, hey, yo, this shit be getting deep. This shit get deep. So, that was President Truman before President Nixon. Probably long before President Nixon. Basically saying that they wanted to take Palestine, and they couldn't just do it the way they wanted it done, which was go in there and just basically remove them. So basically that's how these are events that happen. And like I said, I'm gonna put videos in the description where you can go check these specifically this one guy out. Let's see if I can get his name. It's gonna be in the description. It's gonna be in the description. So it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like, you see this stuff. I'm going through these videos, trying to get this whole video set up basically for Trump having his press conference today with Bibi Netanyahu. And it's really crazy, right? Because you see all of these people saying free Palestine and all of this stuff with Gaza, and you would think, right? Because you hear Trump talking about basically, because as you can see with President Nixon and even Truman, we have been allies with Israel, which are the Jews, for some time now, as America. And President Nixon literally said that they have no real alliance with him. So they're basically just giving money to Israel and basically having Israel's back just because, which I think is a little bit more deeper than that, but that's how they're going to try to play it. So I also looked up how much money annually does America give Israel, and it says the amount of aid the U.S. gives Israel annually varies, with a standing commitment of $3.8 billion per year through 2028, plus billions more in supplemental aid passed by Congress in 2024. So not only do they get protection from the United States, they getting chicken, and we paying for it as taxpayers. And it's just because. It ain't nothing else to it. Just because. Which I don't believe. I believe that it's something more to that. So I want to get into this short that I ran across with this guy named Ted Pike. Doesn't really have too much on him as far as, just that he was a clergyman, believe like a pastor. Definitely, when I looked him up, he had a lot of stuff on Christianity, and he, goes through the Bible and all of that stuff. So I would just let's play this short real quick on what he says about Israel.
Hello, I'm Ted Pike, and this is my wife, Lynn. Today, a foreign government, Israel, operates the most powerful lobby in Congress. This is AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Through control of Congress, Israel demands and gets nearly $5 billion annually. No elected official dares criticize Israel for fear the Jewish lobby will accuse him of anti-Semitism, the kiss of death for any politician. The president also knows what Israel wants, Israel gets. To act otherwise is political suicide. The mass media, founded and controlled primarily by Jews, manipulates the spigot of information out of which heartland America drinks. The message of this contaminated source is, if you criticize Israel, you are anti-Semitic. Be safe, keep your head down, or you are fair game for being knocked off by the Zionist shooting gallery.
As a result, our president and elected officials are slaves to political correctness when it comes to Jews and Israel. They cannot seriously criticize Israel, especially as the source of Mideast strife and terrorism. They cannot suggest an end of aid to Israel. They cannot even protest Zionist control of Congress.
Said Mideast strife and terrorism. So that was in 1987 that they made that video. There's probably a longer video somewhere. I couldn't find it. But they were telling you, they gave you a breakdown of America's alliance with Israel, and saying that basically they have the most powerful lobby. And when you listen, this is Kanye West, and this is let's just play what he says really quick. Let's see what he says about the Jews.
Black people can't be anti-Semitic. We are Jew. You understand what I'm saying? We are Jew. So cool out until you do your facts. Until you really do the facts with the fake indoctrination that y'all pull into the schools and all that. You know what I'm saying? We're not following y'all rules.
I mean, just like calling DEFCON on Jews and that's like, do you take back any of that sort of more extreme stuff?
You know what? For all the kids that love me, all the Jewish kids that love me, I'm sorry if y'all had to hear a grown-up conversation with us screaming at each other. But we got to a point where something needed to happen. Something needed to be said. Somebody needed to say something. Now, if you're in an argument with somebody, you're not going to say everything the right way. But it got to a point where y'all ain't going to just keep running, start calling me bizarre and press for all these years. I got to a point, how many more times y'all going to call me crazy? How many more times y'all going to give me fake medication that makes me fat off of a misdiagnosis when I really have slight signs of autism from the car accident? But then y'all gave me, you say, whatever, just give them that bipolar medication. Y'all try to kill the superhero.
Y'all try to kill the superhero. Yo. So my whole thing is this, right? It's a lot of people speaking out against Israel and what they got going on in the Middle East. Now, also, which makes sense, is there's a lot of resources in the Middle East. America set up shop in Saudi Arabia and had a whole alliance pretty much with them to a degree for their oil. So when you see these wars, like when you seen 9/11 happen, right? And they make it look like as simple as terrorists just flew planes into the building. It's a terrorist attack. But that's just what they want us to know and what they want to tell us and what they want us to believe, more importantly. So it's a lot of stuff that they want us to believe, but it's way more deeper. This is why I say this shit is deeper than fucking Republicans and Democrats, bro. This shit is way deeper than that, bro. Way deeper, bro. That's just bullshit. And people, what? They do what? They focus on the bullshit that doesn't matter. Meanwhile, there is whole transformations going on. Like you seen on the thumbnail that I put up, you see the chart that I put up, and it says that, you know, basically, listen, that was stolen land. That was stolen land. And they want us to believe that Israel has the rights. And then I see people like, I play Officer Tatum all the time. And I play some of his videos and shit. And I fuck with a lot of stuff that he talks about. But for some reason, it threw me off. One of the reasons what made me look into this a little more. You know, outside of just being like, yo, why for decades since I was a kid, why are they going so hard to make Americans believe that Muslims are terrorists? You know what I'm saying? Like, that always threw me off. It always threw me off. And it was one of the things that pushed me towards Islam, to look into Islam and learn about Islam, because I'm like, why don't they want us to know about Islam? And why they want us to look at these people like they're terrorists? For what? And then you realize, like, that's why I said, bro, if you go over to these countries, if you go to Palestine and Gaza, if you go to Iraq and all of these Arab countries, they will tell you that we believe that America is terrorist, you know? And I love America. I live in America. But right is right, wrong is wrong, you know, at the end of the day. And it's just intriguing to me. It's just intriguing. When I seen Officer Tatum, and I'm like, he had the guy Bibi Netanyahu on his what's the name? Which is, he got a big channel, so it's not like crazy. But I just be like in my brain, like, bro, you're not even a Jew. Why are you going so hard for these? You know what I'm saying? I just didn't understand it. I'm just being honest. And then like the way he talks as if like he knows about Islam and shit. Like you don't know shit about Islam, bro. You just another brainwashed Christian who, you know, believe what you believe, and that's fine. But dog, don't act like you know what you're talking about, and then stand on it and speak on it as if. And this brings me back to thinking about Dame Dash when he was talking to Charlemagne the God, and he was telling him like, you be lying, and the way you talk about it, it makes it seem as though what you're saying is true. You know what I'm saying? And you have millions of people who look at what you say and they take it as the Bible, the gospel. Like they take it as truth, and it's not. And that's how I look at when it comes to religion. You know what I'm saying? Like we agree on a lot of things that we talk about when it comes to the black culture and the stupid shit that's going on. But when it comes to religion, Officer Tatum doesn't know shit. Doesn't know anything. I'm just being honest. And, you know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But, like, you know, I fuck with his content. I fuck with some of the things he's talking about. When it comes to this, though, I don't agree with you, not even a percentage. I think, like, really honestly, I think you're very ignorant when it comes to religion because you don't know what you're talking about whatsoever. It's like, I hate when I know for a fact that you're a person that doesn't do any type of, like, because when you talk about religion and when you talk about even politics, right? These are two strong subjects that it's like faith. It's like faith bound. And if you're not a type of person that could go read the Torah, the Talmud, the Quran, the Bible, if you're not a person that could go read these different things to kind of get a reason of why people think the way they think, then, bro, you really can't speak on it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, there's a lot going on in the Middle East, and I seen like maybe not even a minute of this press conference that I'm about to play with Trump. And I could just tell, and this is why I fuck with Trump though, because you could tell Trump just genuinely wants war to stop, like amongst everybody. Like, you could tell, like, he's not, like he's American, so I expect him to have an alliance with, Israel, and, look at, Muslims as if they're terrorists. I expect that from most Americans. So that's not, like, crazy to me to look at, but I can genuinely tell that he just wants peace. Like, you know what I mean? And that's one of the things that I fuck with about Trump. But anyway, let's get into this press conference that they had today. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much, everybody. So this is a big day, a beautiful.
So hold on, before this plays, I just wanted to say the reasons why I played the few videos that I played. I wish I could go more into that, but I'm still doing some research myself. But I kind of just picked, ones that I felt as though meant, kind of stayed on to what I was trying to talk about, getting up to this peace agreement. I'm assuming that's what it is. And so I played the various videos from the presidents talking about Israel and telling you that they took Palestine from the Arabs and gave it to the Jews. Like, it's a fact. You know what I'm saying? So Israel today is a state, a democracy, right? That land was stolen. It's a fact. It's not nothing to talk about or discuss. It is what it is. But I'm a person that's like this. Like, I understand that we live in a world where, unfortunately, man is savage, and we niggas sail the seas, and that's how America was born, by conquering land. So it's not like crazy to me, to be honest. But let's get into this. All that was kind of like a build up to kind of give you a little bit of how different types of people felt, including the president, including the guy Ted Pike, including Ye, how he feel about Jews and Israel, and how they feel about the whole situation with Israel.
Day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization. Things that have been going on for hundreds of years and thousands of years. We're at a minimum very, very close, and I think we're beyond very close. And I want to thank Bibi for really getting in there and doing a job. We've worked well together, as we have with many other countries, both of us, with many other countries, which is the only way this whole situation gets solved. And I'm not just talking about Gaza. Gaza is one thing, but we're talking about much beyond Gaza. The whole deal, everything getting solved. It's called peace in the Middle East. So today is a historic day for peace, and Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded an important meeting on many vital issues, including Iran, trade, the expansion of the Abraham Accords, and most importantly, we discussed how to end the war in Gaza, but it's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East. And let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East. So this is far more than anybody expected, but the level of support that I've had from the nations in the Middle East and surrounding Israel and neighbors of Israel has been incredible. Incredible. Every single one of them. This afternoon, after extensive consultation with our friends and partners throughout the region, I'm formally releasing our principles for peace, which people have really liked, I must say. And these are done, not just routinely done, these are done with total consideration and working with the nations that we're talking about. All of these nations have made contributions to those suggestions. I want to thank the leaders of many Arab and Muslim nations for their tremendous support in developing the proposal, along with many of our allies in Europe. Europe has been very much involved, and as I was called by many of the European leaders, most of them saying, is this true? Are you really doing peace in the Middle East? This is the most incredible thing we've heard. Some think it's the biggest thing they've ever heard. They called just to find out, was it just a rumor or is it actually done. And then he said, have you spoken to the Arab leaders? Have you spoken to all of the other leaders that we have to get? A lot of people involved in this one. I also want to thank Prime Minister Netanyahu for agreeing to the plan and for trusting that if we work together, we can bring an end to the death and destruction that we've seen for so many years, decades, even centuries, and begin a new chapter of security, peace, and prosperity for the entire region. And I want to just say that my meetings and dialogue that we had with so many countries, Saudi Arabia as an example, the king is a phenomenal person. The Emir of Qatar, he's an incredible people. UAE, and that's MBZ and ABZ. We're totally involved. These are the people that we've been dealing with and who've been actually very much involved in this negotiation, giving us ideas, things they can live with, things they can't live with. Pretty complex. I mean, after 2,000, 3,000 years, whatever it is, I guess it's got to be a little complex, or it would have been done a long time ago. The King of Jordan was with us, as you know, in the United Nations. The President of Turkey, President Erdogan, is a friend of mine, a strong man, but a good man. President of Indonesia, somebody who's an amazing leader, Prabowo. He is an amazing leader and respected by everybody. He was in the room with us. We were together with most of these people that I'm mentioning. Others were by phone or the next day. The Prime Minister and the Field Marshal of Pakistan, they were with us right from the beginning. Incredible. In fact, they just put out a statement that they fully believe in this pact. It just came out just as I was walking around. They said, sir, you have a big notice from the Prime Minister of Pakistan and from the Field Marshal that they back this 100%. President El-Sisi of Egypt, who's terrific. And these are people I've gotten to know over the years. I mean, I would say it started around 2015 and then went into 2016 when the presidency officially began. But I've known him actually for a long time, and there are many cases really great men. I can't say in all cases, but I will tell you in many cases they're great men and some great women too. They tend to be mostly men, however, I will say that. But if accepted by Hamas, this proposal calls for the release of all remaining hostages immediately, but in no case more than 72 hours. So the hostages are coming back, and I hate even saying this from the standpoint, doesn't sound right, but it is so important to the parents. The bodies of the young men, I believe in almost all cases, the young men are coming back immediately. I met with parents. The parents felt as strongly about getting the body of their dead boy back as they did as though the boy were alive and well. It's so important to them. And it means the immediate end to the war itself, not just Gaza. It's the war itself. Under the plan, Arab and Muslim countries have committed, and in writing in many cases, but I actually would take their word for it. The people I mentioned, I'd take their word for it, to demilitarize Gaza, and that's quickly. Decommission the military capabilities of Hamas and all other terror organizations. Do that immediately. And we're relying on the countries that I named and others to deal with Hamas. And I'm hearing that Hamas wants to get this done too, and that's a good.
Hey, yo, I don't know why, but like, I'm not saying it is. It's like, but when they talk about Hamas, right? It's kind of like, I don't know, bro. There should be trickery because when I know that bro, they play a treacherous game, bro, and I wouldn't be surprised if, like, I'm not saying this is a fact, but I wouldn't be surprised if Israel somehow funded or knew that the attack on October 7th was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because there was some information. I'm not sure if I played it, and I don't know why I feel like I played it, but it was some information that, damn, who was it that was speaking on how Israel gave money, I believe, to Qatar to fund Hamas, and then turned around and then attacked Qatar. It was something. It was something like that. But point being is, it was some information that made me think that Israel had something to do with what happened on October 7th, which was used to, go to war. And so it's just, this stuff I don't know why I just stopped it for that, but when they mentioned Hamas, it just made me think, like, this shit all fake, bro. It should be just fake, bro, just so they can go to war and just conquer land and take over shit. It's crazy.
And destroy all terror infrastructure, including the tunnels, weapons, production facilities. They have a lot of production facilities that we're destroying. They'll also help train local police forces in the areas that we're discussing right now, in particular in and around Gaza, working with the new transitional authority in Gaza. All parties will agree on a timeline for Israeli forces to withdraw in phases. They'll be withdrawing in phases. No more shooting, hopefully, as progress is made toward achieving these goals. Arab and Muslim nations need to be allowed the chance to fulfill these commitments of dealing with Hamas. They have to deal with them because they were the one group that we have not dealt with. I haven't dealt with them. But the Arab countries are going to, and Muslim countries are going to be dealing with Hamas, and I believe they've already been there. I think they probably have an understanding, and they haven't maybe mentioned that, but I would imagine they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't have gone as far as they've gone. If they're unable to do so, then Israel would have the absolute right, and actually our full backing, U.S. full backing. Marco's here. And a lot of our leaders are here. Our great Vice President, Susie Wiles, Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. They've been so involved in this process. I don't think anybody else could have done it or even come close. But it's we're right there. We're right there. First time in thousands of years, I think you can probably say, if you really look into it, if you study back, if you're a scholar, you would say thousands of years. Israel would have my full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas. But I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer. But if not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do. Everyone understands that the ultimate result must be the elimination of any danger posed in the region, and that danger is caused by Hamas. The tyranny of terror has to end, and this is, again, something that we're looking for. This is eternity. This is for forever. To ensure the success of this effort, my plan calls for the creation of a new international oversight body, the Board of Peace, we call it, the Board of Peace, sort of a beautiful name, the Board of Peace, which will be headed, not at my request, believe me, I'm very busy, but we have to make sure this works. The leaders of the Arab world, and Israel, and everybody involved asked me to do this, so it would be headed by a gentleman known as President Donald J. Trump of the United States. That's what I want, is some extra work to do, but it's so important that I'm willing to do it, and we'll do it right, and we're going to put leaders from other countries on, and leaders that are very distinguished leaders, and we'll have a board, and one of the people that wants to be on the board is the UK former Prime Minister, Tony Blair, good man, very good man, and some others, and they'll be named over the next few days, and it'll be quite the board. Working, everybody wants to be on it now. I don't know if that had anything to do. They named me and everybody else wanted to be on it. I guess they figure, well, he's a soft touch. He'll be easy to deal with. Working with the World Bank and others, it will be responsible for recruiting and training a new government that will be made up of Palestinians along with highly qualified experts from all around the world. Hamas and other terrorist factions will play no role in the board, but they'll play no role in the governance of Gaza at all, directly or indirectly. As you know, thousands of Hamas leaders have been killed and soldiers have been killed. And we can never forget October 7th, but thousands have paid the price for that. And now it's time to get our hostages back and get back to trying to build something that's really great and very important. In our meeting today, Prime Minister Netanyahu was very clear about his opposition to a Palestinian state. And he continuously mentions October 7th, and I understand that. Most people do. And I understand and respect his position on many things, but what he's doing today is so good for Israel. I noticed that they have large crowds gathering in Israel all the time, and they have my name up. They like me for whatever reason, Bibi, I don't know, but they do like me. But they say two things: please get the hostages back and please end the war. They've had it. It's had it. So I think it's a very popular thing you do, because he's a warrior. He doesn't know about getting back to a normal way of life, but he is a warrior, and Israel's lucky to have him. But now the people want to get back to peace. They want to get back to normalization in a true sense. Several countries have foolishly recognized the Palestinian state. As you know, some of our European friends, allies, good people, but they're really, I think, doing that because they're very tired of what's going on for so many decades. They've been presidents and prime ministers for years, and during this time, having to do with the Middle East, all they're doing is talking about the same thing over and over. They want to see it get back. And nobody wants that more than me, or I believe Bibi too. But the people of Israel want it. They really want it. They want the hostages back. That includes the probably 32 bodies that we're talking about, 20 people that are living, 32 or so people that are dead, and they want to have peace. So let us not forget how we got here. Hamas was elected by the Palestinian people. Israel withdrew from Gaza thinking they would live in peace. Remember that a long time ago? They withdrew. They said, you take it. This is our contribution to peace. But that didn't work out. That didn't work out. It was the opposite of peace. They pulled away. They let them have it. And I never forgot that, because I said, that doesn't sound like a good deal to me. As a real estate person, I mean, they gave up the ocean, right? Ron, they gave up the ocean. They said, who would do this deal? And it still didn't work out. They were very generous, actually. And they gave up the most magnificent piece of land in many ways in the Middle East. And they said, all we want to do now is have peace. And that request was not honored. Instead of building a better life for the Palestinians, Hamas diverted resources to build over 400 miles of tunnels and terror infrastructure, rocket production facilities, and hid their military command posts and launch sites in hospitals, schools, and mosques. So if you went after them, you'd be after them, and you wouldn't even realize you ended up knocking out a hospital or a school or a mosque. That terrible thing, terrible, terrible way to have to fight. No fight is good, but that's a real bad one. So there are many Palestinians who wish to live in peace. Many. I've seen so many of them. And they have support. And I challenge the Palestinians to take responsibility for their destiny, because that's what we're giving them. We're giving them responsibility.
All right, so that's kind of long going into this whole thing. So Let me see something. I want to see.
It is Monday, September 29th, and a big show today. President Trump just releasing his peace plan for Gaza. 20-point plan, major concessions being made to get this
So I figured I'd play RJ Talks to my guy, man. He always breaking shit down. So I figured I'd break down. It just was getting boring. So I just want to break down this whole
done
thing.
to end the war. We're going to break it down. Also, the National Guard arriving to Portland to counter Antifa. The Democrat governor there filing a lawsuit immediately, responding and claiming, we have no crime problem. We have no Antifa problem. Really? We'll double check that for you, Governor. Also, what in the world is happening in Canada? It is a bad day if you're a law-abiding Canadian citizen.
Yeah, John, absolutely. And what does this tell us? The White House releasing more details to this plan. It means over the past 48 hours, they have been going through these individual points and negotiating, and they are getting closer to what will be the framework of this proposal. And when you look through it, there are a few numbers slightly changed, such as the release of the hostages. The new point number 4 says within 72 hours of Israel publicly accepting the agreement, all hostages alive and deceased will be returned. Also, we have more numbers of what the Israelis will have to give up. This plan states that 250 life sentence Palestinian prisoners plus 1,700 Gazans who were detained after October 7th would be freed.
President Trump unveiling his peace plan for Gaza, meeting this morning with Bibi Netanyahu at the White House and releasing his plan for peace, a 20-point peace plan. You can see the full thing here. We're not going to go through each one of these points, but there are concessions here. The plan includes 20 of these detailed bullet points, including the release of all Israeli hostages by Hamas, and then Israel also releasing over 1,700 Gaza prisoners, including 250 life-sentenced Hamas fighters. Here's the map that they released, these newly drawn lines. Should both sides accept the deal eventually, if all goes well, there will be this new security buffer zone, which you could see here. President Trump moments ago.
You know what's so crazy, bro? They stole the whole Israel. They stole whole Israel. And all that pretty much was left to Palestinians was Gaza, pretty much. And now they're trying to remap that. Hey, yo, this shit is crazy, bro.
Telling Hamas, if you fail to accept this peace plan, Israel will have my full unconditional backing to go in and finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas. Watch what he said.
Thousands of years, I think you can probably say, if you really look into it, if you study back, if you're a scholar, you would say thousands of years. Israel would have my full backing to finish the job of destroying the threat of Hamas, but I hope that we're going to have a deal for peace. And if Hamas rejects the deal, which is always possible, they're the only one left. Everyone else has accepted it. But I have a feeling that we're going to have a positive answer.
I don't think so. Not, I think they're going to reject it like they always do. They don't care. You gotta understand something, man. These people have more stuck in their faith than would they care about, Israel. They already are feeling a type of way. You know what I mean? Like, so this shit is way bigger than we think, bro. To be honest, it's actually crazy, man.
Not, as you know, Bibi, you'd have our full backing to do what you would have to do.
Now, in this deal, President Trump would chair the transition board. All hostages, both alive and deceased, to be returned within 72 hours of Israel's acceptance. In return, Israel will release 250 life-sentenced prisoners and 1,700 detainees. All military options will be suspended. And what will Gaza look like in the future? To become a de-radicalized, terror-free zone. That's what this plan details. Under temporary Palestinian technocratic governance with international stabilization forces on the ground. And What about Hamas? What will happen to Hamas? Well, they will have no role in Gaza governance. Members of Hamas who disarm peacefully may receive amnesty or safe passage abroad. And then what about the future of Gaza? Rebuilding and aid? Well, immediate humanitarian aid, unrestricted distribution through the UN, through the Red Crescent, creation of a special economic zone, and a Trump-led economic development plan to rebuild Gaza. Let me know what you think about this. The anti-Israel crowd will obviously claim this is one-sided, but look.
It is. It is. But at the end of the day, hey, man, it's the price of war, I guess you could say. It's crazy, though, man. Like, I want to look more into this, though. I really do. It's very interesting. You know, at the end of the day, I'm an American citizen, but I'm also Muslim, and I do not agree with, you know, a lot of this shit that's been going on, like, against Muslims, bro. And I just hate the narrative against Muslims, bro. Because, listen, bro, you could say there are extremists on every side, bro, of the spectrum. There's extreme Jews, there's extreme Christians, there's extreme Muslims, there's extreme everybody. But you don't see everybody going around talking about Christianity is, and of course, like I said, if you ask Muslims in Arabic countries how they feel about Americans or Christians or kuffars or whatever you want to call it, they'll tell you that they're terrorists, that they're the real terrorists, that they're the real problem, you know? But this shit is bigger than what we think, man. But hey, man, if we could get some real peace out of this, then is it worth it? I guess so. Because no matter what, bro, this shit is bigger than us, so it's gonna happen regardless. And you know, I'm just a small little voice in a big old echo chamber. And you know, in America, you know, you're gonna have more people siding with, you know, basically all the terms is within Israel. Like, if they do this, we'll do this. Or, no, if they do this, if they don't do this, then we just going to, you know, go right back to war, which is probably what they want. They know they're going to reject it for the most part, but maybe they won't. I don't know. We'll see, man. You know, but Trump saying he want war. Trump saying he want peace. At least he coming to the table with some terms. You know, hopefully they agree to it and you can get something out of it, man. But this shit is way bigger. Like I said, man, I'm gonna link some videos that I want you guys to watch. And let me know what you think, man. How you feel about this whole Israel, Hamas, and Israel-Gaza situation. See a lot of people out in the streets protesting and all of this stuff. And it's deep, man. It's very deep. I'm going to do some more homework on this shit, man, before I really speak on it like how I want to. But because I don't really like putting out bullshit information. But when I see stuff, when I see people strongly, you know, putting stuff out there, and I'm just thinking, like, especially when it comes to religion, and I know you're wrong, like 100% wrong, but you're strongly putting it out there and you have a big following, that's going to make me look into shit. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I wasn't really, I knew what was going on. I got a couple Muslim brothers I follow, very respectable here in the United States, San Diego to be exact. And, you know, so I've been a little bit hearing about it, but I haven't been really going deep into it. But now I want to go deep into it because, you know. But hey, man, I'm from America. I'm going to be America first, but I'm also going to be peace first. So I fuck with Trump wanting peace. So let's see if they can make it happen, people. But listen, man, that's the end of the show. Fuck with it, man. Make sure you leave a comment. Also, like the video. Subscribe. Help your boy. I'm on the road to monetization, trying to get there by January. So if you can help your boy by hitting that subscribe button, it costs you nothing. I truly appreciate it. This your boy, SL550. This is the N.G.L.A. podcast. Until next time, I'm out. Okay, that didn't work.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.